one question and a follow-up from each, just with everyone on the call. So if we can kick off with broadcast. Andy, if you want to kick us off, please.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Gregor. How's it going?
Very well, Andy. Sorry, out of breath, climbing up the stairs.
I saw you pacing back and forth there. That must be the pre-match nerves kicking in already.
The green tea that Michael left me.
Gregor, we've been waiting for you to name your team, and it's a fascinating team in many ways. Just in a broad sense, tell us why you selected this team and how you think that they'll go about beating Wales.
Yeah, well, the team is obviously based on what we believe is the best place to win us this game at the weekend. So that might be on form. In the case of Jamie Ritchie's injury, it's obviously an opportunity for Sam Skinner to come in. But also might be on combinations we believe can work against the way that Wales play and the way that we want to play. And regarding the front row, it was something we looked at last week of getting a fresh front row on at a certain point in the game. Now it's their opportunity to start, but we'll be looking at bringing a reserve front row on together like we did last week.
I'm sure the guys will get into the nuts and bolts of the key selections, but I just wanted to ask you, so many times, Gregor, the Principality Stadium's a funny place, and when Wales got on a roll, things can happen, and people are writing them off at the moment, which I'm sure you won't be, but Scotland have wilted under that pressure in that stadium on a number of occasions. The last visit in 2018 being a prime example, but do you feel like this team now, with the experiences like 2018, are now equipped to deal better with that?
We should be. We've not been there for 4 years, so a lot has happened in those 4 years to this team. We've had experiences against some top sides, both home and away, and we've shown resilience in those games. We've not won them all, obviously, but I believe the test we had in Paris, the test we had in Twickenham, sets us up for what will be a great challenge this week with a full stadium and one of the best venues in the world.
Thanks, Gregor.
Thank you.
As Andy said there, a lot of people watched Wales' performance in Dublin and kind of written them off for this championship. I assume you will expect a reaction from them this weekend.
Yes, you're better in your second game normally in the Six Nations. The first game, things don't go smoothly for you. If you're going up against a top side like Ireland, who've got lots of momentum, and you're playing them away from home, then you may struggle to get into the game early on. But I felt the second quarter and parts of the second half, they were equal to Ireland. They created chances. They showed that the defence can get turnovers. So yeah, we know that they'll be better for that game, and they're a top side with great players right throughout the 15.
It's been some journey for Sione Tuipulotu since he came over here to establish himself at Glasgow and now become a test starter. Does he add a different dimension for you at 12?
He does. He's a different player to Sam and Cam, the other guys that we've been in consideration for 12. He's a very creative player. We love that about him. We love his detail as well. He's very loud in attack and defence in the training field, but he can bring others into play. He's also got his own running game, which he showed for Glasgow over the last few weeks. So all those things are going to be important. Defence is probably going to be the number one when you come into our side and we come into our midfield. You have to defend very well. And that's something he's been doing really well at training.
Gregor, you spoke about Wales being better. In what respect do you want Scotland to be better? Obviously, it's a great outcome last week, but I'm sure you've got high standards and saw things that you want to do better as well.
Lots of areas. So we didn't get a set piece attack going at the weekend, mainly off line out in that first half. So just showing more accuracy there, getting into our phases to allow our best decision makers to play where the right area is to play, whether that's keeping ball in hand, which part of the defence to attack, or to put the ball behind the defence. So in the first half, we weren't able to generate those opportunities. We did in the second half, and that was great to see because the weather conditions were poor. From a set piece point of view, line-out did go well in terms of winning ball, but I think there's more we can do there around our maul, our defence. Likewise with our scrum, I don't think we got the opportunities to scrum at the weekend. There was a lot of resets and shenanigans going on in that scrum. And I also feel that our defence can improve. We were happy with a few aspects of it, but we can go up another level this week.
How beneficial is learning from previous experiences in terms of getting a good result like last week is one thing, but then following it up is perhaps even harder, or that becomes the next challenge?
Yeah, I think getting on our game is great for this group. We don't come together very often, and the nature of the Six Nations is that you play 2 games and then you go back to your clubs and you play 1 game and back to your club. So to get 2 games in succession, we've been together now for 3 weeks. That's great for us. We want to put what we've been working on in training, what we showed at times against England, into a better performance this week.
Any more questions from the broadcasters?
Gregor, just one from me. Obviously, you've done a lot over the last couple of years. Is winning away from home in front of probably one of the most hostile crowds you're going to get, is that the next big step, or one of the next big steps for this team?
It is the next step, yeah, because it's the next game. It's hard to sort of evaluate what a win would do until you play the game and you realise what goes into a game. So it'd be hard to talk what we did in Paris. But you're right, the challenge is a bigger one now in many ways because of our history and the fact it's a full crowd, which it wasn't in Paris. But yeah, we'll just take it as our next game. We know we've got a few areas to improve, and Wales will challenge us in different areas than England did.
Any more from broadcast? We're happy to move on to written. Okay, perfect.